What's up, guys? It's Alex Roche, the Realtor. Today I'm going to discuss with you how I got my last listing and the numbers behind it. Let's go. So I've actually been a realtor for a little under 2 years now. I've had a really great reception and a pretty fast-paced learning curve with the pandemic behind us. So the last listing I got was an amazing home off of Powell Court. It was over by the country club here in Visalia, California. It was right in the middle of the heat of the pandemic, and so the sellers, like most sellers at the time, were definitely looking to cash out at the top of the market. We ended up negotiating back and forth and listing right around 640K.
When a seller contacts you and they have a certain price, do you tell them, hey, you're asking too much, too little? How do you determine that?
Pricing on a home is super important. It definitely depends on the area, it depends on the timing, it depends on the individual home. So when somebody has their heart set on a price, it can be a really hard listing to attain. There's agents out there who would, I'm sure, just grab it and then deal with the other side of negotiating after having it on the market for a while. But I would just really over-educate, be educated in the market, specifically as hyper-local as I could get to their house, and try to give them the best information to sell their home quickest.
So how'd you get this listing?
So my friend Monique presented me with an opportunity to put some ads and a story about my family in Visalia Neighbors magazine. And these clients actually received the magazine, read my story, fell in love with me a little bit, enough to give me an interview. And the interview was successful and I won the listing.
So as a realtor, do you have to try different things to get clients, or do you feel there's a certain few things that work for all clients?
Being that I'm a new realtor, at any stage in your career, honestly, there's so many places you could advertise or put your name. You have to hone down and do what you're comfortable with and what's worked for you. And so what that is making sure you have a system in place to track that.
Got it, man. So they liked you, you became their agent. What was the first step?
The first step to getting a listing live is having that awkward conversation of like, hey, I know you love your family, but you really need to take their pictures down. And after that, I mean, it's a little bit easier, you know, because if you can get them to understand that, everything else becomes a little bit easier. And all we're really trying to do is get the seller to understand that for them to get the highest, they want the new buyer to imagine it's their home. And it's kind of hard to imagine it's your home when there's strange pictures in it. And I get they're not strange to you, but they might be strange to the buyer.
Hey, not these last clients, but has anybody really fought you on that? Like, hey, don't take down my pictures, don't move my furniture. They either want my house or they don't. You know, that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with that before?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So in the instance where the house is perfect and the seller doesn't want to change anything, whether it is or isn't, and that's their attitude, we're gonna go ahead and I'm here to present what you want. I'm here to help you sell your home. I can suggest until my face turns blue what might help, but at the end of the day, I'm here to help you put your home on the market how you wish and get it sold.
Got it. All right, man, so you started listing the house. Did you get offers right away or did it take some time?
So in this exact case, we were right in the middle of the pandemic, and I, amongst other agents, can honestly say the market was pricing the homes. And so in the first couple of weeks, we knew immediately we needed to adjust the price. As soon as we had that conversation and we were all on the same page to lower the home, we got 2 offers. We got those 2 offers, and then we again went to the table immediately to decide which was the best and strongest. And then we went ahead and accepted that offer.
How come you guys decided to lower it?
It takes a really good agent to be in tune with the ever-changing market. At the time, the market was looking at about a week sold. And so what that means is if your home was on the market for more than a week, it was starting to become stale. Now, these numbers are immensely exaggerated from normal times when it could take 30, 60, even 90 days on average to sell your home. And so we were getting our data super fast. And so we just knew immediately like, hey, if it hasn't happened already in this market, we need to change something.
Okay, so you got 2 offers. How did you decide which one you were gonna go for?
Accepting an offer, you wanna look at more than just the number. So let's say it's 500,000 and you're looking at another offer that's 495,000. You wanna then immediately check any contingencies. So how long is their inspection period? Standard is 17 days for them to go in and have the home looked at and inspected. Have they shortened that for you, or have they extended it for themselves? That's something that's important. Timelines, right? Like, are they taking long, and is that gonna be advantageous to you? Or do you want something shorter? So those are all things that you can negotiate and change. And the loan contingency is obviously a huge one. If you have a buyer who has proven cash purchased the home, it's less hoops to jump through and usually a quicker sale and more guaranteed. So people tend to take an all cash offer, even if it is a little bit lower, because it's more known, it's less unknown, it's more guaranteed.
So you guys took an offer?
Yeah.
And then how long was escrow?
So we actually ended up doing a 30-day close of escrow, but because of the market, what was popular at the time was a rent back. And so what that means is we actually sold and closed the home from the sellers to the buyers, fully transferred it into their names. The buyers then became landlords for the sellers for 2 months so that they could close out their home, finish their life, and get ready to move on.
They could do that?
They could do that.
Does that happen often?
It happened very often during the pandemic because things were happening so quickly and things were happening for so much money that people truly didn't care either way. In most cases, it's kind of like whatever's best for you, seller, right? Is how we were winning the offers or winning the offers. But that has slowed down, and now it again just depends on the transaction. Like I said, if they want 60 days escrow and 120 days or 2 years rent back, and they all agree to it, let's get it done.
And that was it? Escrow happened, closing happened, you go find another listing?
I wish that was the story, it would be great. But this one was a little bit juicy because they had an outdoor deck that was wrapped in vinyl siding. And I don't know if you're familiar with vinyl siding. It's essentially just like a really thin piece of metal that they wrap around a home for weather protection and like aesthetic, like it looks good. Some people think it looks good, whether you do or not, that's up to you. So we, the sellers, knew that on top of the deck, there was a little bit of a soft spot, and we disclosed that and we put that in all of the places we were supposed to, and we let the agent and buyers know. So they of course wanted to further inspect and open up the vinyl siding on the deck. It wasn't super easy to even find somebody who was willing to do that job in the first place. Once we did, of course, this is in escrow, so we already have a 30-day time limit that we're working on. We started opening up the deck, and the entire deck was dry rotted because water had got into the vinyl siding, and the vinyl siding acted as basically like saran wrap and just kept the water on the wood. And we had to rebuild the entire deck within 2 weeks and then have it inspected to make sure that we could close on time. And thank God I found an amazing contractor who was able to, and we did, and everything closed on time.
What would have happened if you guys didn't fix it, or
so
would you go to the other offer or no?
So here's the thing, if something like this comes up in escrow, you don't have to fix it. The seller didn't have to fix it, but here we all know now. And so it's gonna have to get fixed or sold as is. Either way, it's gonna affect your value. You're gonna have to go back on market and wait for more offers. Now, yes, we had an offer in hand. We could have called that offer, negotiated a number, and tried to get them interested. But also at this time in the market, that offer could have already purchased or had an offer on another home because, again, things were just moving so fast. Depending on the situation, I would usually encourage my seller to come as far as they can to negotiations with the buyers because it's a lot harder to find another buyer than it is to fix the problem at hand that you know, right? Because now you're in the know, opposed to going back to market, whether you fix it or not. Now you have an unknown, which is if you're going to find a buyer.
The buyer brought this up to the seller. Is there negotiations, or can the buyer be like, you have to fix all of it, your cost, or can we split the cost? You know, one negotiation can happen.
Yeah. In escrow, you have your 17-day inspection period, and within your inspection period, you need to basically inspect the home, and you're gonna write up and send over what's called a request for repairs. Now, in the state of California, which is all I speak on, is that request for repairs, unfortunately, does not even have to be answered by the seller. Once you send over the request for repairs, if you're coming up to your 17th day of your inspection period and you have not gotten an answer back, it is super crucial for you to make a decision whether you want to cancel that contract or move forward, because everything at that point is going to be good faith. Whether the owner said they're going to fix something or not, it has not been signed and dated, it is not contractual, and it does not have to essentially be done. So at the end of escrow, it was a great story. We had some ups and downs with some water damage, but we closed escrow. From what I heard from the other side, they were super happy with their home. My sellers are on to their new home in a new city and enjoying their life. That's my last listing and how it went for me. So let me know in the comments how your last listing went for you. And of course, if you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Visalia, California area, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at AlexMyRealtor. And please, if you like this video, hit the subscribe, follow along. Thanks, guys.